This is the Peace, Power, and Purpose podcast, where we spread awareness for men's mental health and spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. New episodes drop weekly. Thank you for this platform. I'm grateful to just be able to share these inspirational stories and to reach people out there that are looking for guidance, looking for direction, and just looking for purpose. Lord, I pray that the episode tonight will go well, that you'll be in this episode, that you will lead me with your Holy Spirit, that you'll bless both of us tonight, and you'll just guide the conversation that will inspire people, spread awareness for mental health, and also spread your gospel, Lord. It's in your mighty name that I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Welcome back to the Peace, Power, and Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Steve. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that bell at the bottom. Subscribe to the channel. I drop new episodes every Wednesday and every Thursday, and you don't want to miss one. My guest tonight served in the United States Navy as a SEAL for 12 years. So he operated at the tip of the spear. Now he is an entrepreneur, and he runs his own company called Alex Rogers Coaching. He's also a competitive no-gi jiu-jitsu athlete, and he's a father of two. Tonight, we're going to cover topics that a lot of men have dealt with. We're going to talk about divorce. We're going to talk about alcohol. We're going to talk about purpose, discipline, resilience. We're going to get to know Alex the man and his identity outside of the trident from when he was a SEAL. Alex, thank you for joining the show tonight, man. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. And let's give Zach a big shout out too, man. Zach Ferguson, appreciate you, brother.
And dude,
All right, man. Well, the way I like to start it off is kind of start from the beginning, Alex. Like, where'd you grow up, man?
I grew up in Stockbridge, Vermont, middle of nowhere, in the woods, really.
Okay.
Like to tell people to just Google Stockbridge, Vermont, and you'll see it's just trees. And then you got to really zoom in to find my house. So that I grew
Okay.
up in. So I really grew up in the middle of the wilderness.
Okay, cool, man. So did you spend your whole childhood in that town?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All the way through pretty much till I left for the Navy. I traveled a little bit, but that was home until
Okay.
then.
Were you active, as a kid in sports and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah. My elementary school is where I first found soccer and basketball. I think I started playing soccer around uh, second grade, maybe. Was super into that. We had a big field outside the school. Um, I don't think I started playing basketball till maybe fifth or sixth grade. And it was just in the cafeteria. It wasn't even a court. It was just, push the chairs and tables to the side, had like a little rolly hoop. And so it was technically was basketball, but I didn't really know anything about basketball. I didn't really start playing that till middle school.
Okay.
Mhm.
Was
But that,
were your parents athletes? Were they real active? Is that kind of how you got into sports?
yeah, yeah. So my mom was actually the coach of the basketball team
Oh,
then.
cool.
Um, and then I actually don't know if she played soccer. I know my dad did in his, in high school and whatnot.
Hmm.
Um, but that was it really. And then my uncle, my dad, my mom's brother, he was big into basketball as well. So
Did that end up
mhm.
being your favorite sport, basketball?
Yeah, I love basketball. Yep, for a while that's all I wanted to do.
Nice.
I wanted to go to college and play. Um, but I didn't want to do anything else at college besides play basketball. So I didn't.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't end up going after high school. I
Gotcha.
wanted to
Okay.
play college soccer too, but same deal. I just didn't do it. But I did
Yeah.
love it. It was a big thing for me in my earlier years.
Yeah, the school part's the worst part of college, so.
I know, right?
Yeah, yeah. What about, like, growing up, was church kinda was that like a family
Mhm.
tradition? Was faith real big for your family growing up?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think I first accepted Jesus as my savior, and I think I was like probably 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember how old I was, but I actually remember the first time I, you know, did the prayer. I was in my parents' bedroom upstairs in my house, and I said it then. I've said it definitely many times since then, but that was the first time. But yeah, we go to church every Sunday. Um, we went to it was in elementary school for sure because I remember I brought one of my friends with me, and he accepted Jesus as his savior as well, which was really
Wow.
cool for me. And it was like um, we went to like this summer camp, and it was like people were encouraged to bring people,
Mhm.
other people to like come, and and I brought him, and he did it and raised his hand and
Wow.
went in this, and but yeah, so it's always been there. I got to say though, and we can get more into this as we go, but it's not. It's been on the back upper shelf in the back of a closet, more than it's not. It's not there anymore. But yeah, it's always been in part of my life,
Mhm.
but just how much so is ebbed and flowed.
I can relate to that, man. I grew up in church as well, and kind of walked that path really until I got to college, and then I just decided to do things on my own. And then
Yeah.
I came back to Jesus later in life once I
Mm.
got sober and kind of burned everything, So then I
Yeah.
realized,
Yeah.
yeah, my way doesn't work. So then I realized
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta lean on Christ because Steve's way sucks. But
That's right.
so
Yeah.
I can totally understand that, man. Well, I want to ask you this, dude, because given the career path that you chose,
Mhm.
did you have family members that served in the military? Like, what inspired you to go into the Navy?
That one I don't know.
Hmm,
But I my maternal grandfather was in the army. His father was my great grandfather was I believe using like the Army Air Corps or whatever it was, like in World War II.
hmm.
And then my dad's uncle, who I don't think I actually ever met, he was in the army in Vietnam and was kind of crazy. That's why I never met him.
Okay.
But other than that, no, no one really pushed me into it. Actually, my no one wanted me to do it.
Hmm.
It was just something I always was into ever since I was a little kid. I liked playing with little green soldiers and the GI Joes. I liked war movies. I
Hmm.
liked history of that sort of thing, and it just always stuck with me. And yeah, it never went away. My brother had zero interest in that. Um, and then a lot of my friends growing up didn't really have any interest in it except for one. He went in the Marine Corps. But other than that, I didn't really have anybody that like persuaded me. It just kind of came and it was just there.
What drove you to go the SEAL route? Where'd that come from?
Um, so that is kind of funny how that developed. Since I was a little kid playing with these toys and whatnot and interested in these things, I always wanted to do something cool. I remember another memory. It's very probably because I talk about it more than now, but I remember going to school one day and I played Halo a lot growing up.
Nice.
And I was like, I want to be Halo qualified. I thought that was like, I didn't even know what it meant, but I just thought it sounded cool. And I liked the idea of scuba diving. I liked the idea of jumping. I liked the idea of driving, badass vehicles.
Hmm.
Like the idea of like painting my face and like sneaking through, enemy territory and um, just doing cool stuff. And you know, come to find out that's what a Navy SEAL is. So I didn't know what that was.
Mm.
I think my first taste of like, and again, I didn't even really realize it at the time, but this is when the seeds started to get planted. Was Tears of the Sun with Bruce Willis.
Oh, that's right. I remember that
I
movie. Yeah.
loved that movie. I loved it.
Yeah.
And that was like here are a group of guys that jump in, then they swim up. They go into this village and they have a mission to just extract this one person,
Hmm.
but they're human too at the same time, so like we have to save everybody, like we're here to serve and like you know help people.
Yeah.
And I just thought that, and then they go through the rest of the movie, and just extreme violence and action throughout there, like just looking at this like, dude, here's like 8 guys taking on however many, and like they could just throw her over the shoulder and just bug out, like
Hmm.
that would be so easy. um but they stay in to fight to protect these people. And I just, I've always wanted to be like a hero, I guess,
Hmm.
like that, and
Hmm.
serve. And um like the if not me then who, like Like I trained for this. I'm built for this. Like mentally and physically, I'm a a big guy. I love the fitness. And I know what I believe in. Even if I don't always follow it to a T, like I know what I believe in.
Mhm,
And I felt like even though I've made bad decisions throughout my life, like I know what's good and what's right. And that's
mhm.
kind of what drove me to want to do something a little extra, something special, something elite. Um, really because of that. I
Yeah.
obviously got somewhat of an ego too, of course, but I don't want to, and I want to be different. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a healthy mix of both of those, I think.
Well, and I like to ask veterans this when they come on. Did faith play a role in all as you started to kind of pursue the Navy? And obviously you're going into a pipeline that's extremely difficult, if not the most difficult school in the military. Were you praying about that? Were you asking God
Yeah,
kind of for guidance? Were you?
yeah. I prayed a lot. Um, it's funny you always pray when you're in the worst spot. I feel like what's that saying? Like everybody's an atheist until
Yeah. The foxhole.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
No atheist in the foxhole. That I think
that's
that's
what.
how you
Yeah,
say it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I definitely I prayed a lot about that. I read a lot of scripture going through
Nice.
buds.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, it was always there, like I said. And then later, we can get into that again, like when I kind of
Yeah.
fell off the track. But yeah, it's always been there. Something I always lean on when there's nothing else.
Well, and I'll share this with you, man. Like that is one of the biggest regrets I have in life is that when I joined the Navy, I didn't pray at all. I
Hmm.
didn't ask God for anything. I just thought, yeah, I got this. I was an idiot. I didn't. And that's why I asked that question when I bring veterans on because I'm always kind of curious. And
Yeah,
most guys that I've talked to, especially at the high level, they've all said, yeah, they prayed about it. I'm just like, man, I don't know what I was thinking, dude. But yeah, I had an ego too. But what's the famous line? Your ego's writing checks your body can't cash. That was me,
yeah,
dude. That was
yeah,
me. But
yeah.
what year did you join the Navy?
2013.
Oh wow, okay. All right.
Mhm.
So you join the Navy and then you go basic and then you go straight to buds?
Yeah, Buds Prep, right across the street in Great Lakes. Um, I was in Great Lakes for June through I think like September, and then went to Coronado, did basic orientation for I think like 3 weeks, and then started Buds. Went Buds in probably October of 2013, all the way till I made it all the way through. I think we graduated like March or so of 2014, and then started SQT right after that. I got med rolled in combatives, multiple attackers. I broke my thumb, so I got one class roll for that, and then graduated SQT February 1st, 2016,
Wow, man, that's awesome. What was
or
that like?
15.
Okay, okay. What was that like for you? So you go to boot camp and then you go to Coronado. Like was Buzz what you expected or were you really surprised by it?
Um, no, it was pretty much what I expected. I read a Dick Couch book where
Mhm.
he kind of it's like the most at the time. I'm sure there's tons out there now, but at the was like the most accurate for what was going on because I remember people used to say like my active duty mentor and then the retired SEAL Master Chief kind of it's like what you hear about buds then definitely not the same now,
Mhm.
but it was only like what you hear is max 10% of what was there. But
Mhm.
I have a pretty good knack of like visualizing and overhyping things in my head. So I don't really honestly remember anything being like super like, wow, I was not expecting this. There was definitely things that were way harder than I thought.
Mhm.
Um, but nothing like threw me off. Like the only thing, like the 50-meter underwater swim, um, I thought was like later on in buds. It was
Mhm.
day two. I thought we did boats and logs every day.
Mhm.
And when I found out it was once a week, I was like, oh, that's easy. It's not easy, but I see why you do it once a week. But like that, so that's what I'm getting at. Is like I thought some of these things were going to be worse than they were.
Mhm.
So everything honestly was just as bad or less than I thought it was going to be. Um, so yeah, I felt pretty like mentally pretty prepared for it for the
Okay.
most part.
Well, and I've never asked, this question yet, and I just thought of this, man, because I've had a couple team guys on the show.
Hmm.
Would you say Hell Week or pool comp was worse?
Pool comp.
I figured you'd say that. Yeah, I figured you'd say that.
Dude, I love this question when people ask me about Hell Week. I'm just like, bro, Hell Week's easy. It is literally the easiest part of buds,
Hmm.
and like mentally anyway, because and it's a switch. Because Hell Week, you can be the dumbest person on earth. If you do not have to think. They tell you every single thing to do. So as long as you can understand what they're saying and you can hear them, meaning you don't have water or sand in your ears,
Yeah.
and your body can continue to do what you're told, you will make it through.
Hmm.
Um, Now, I can't promise you what your reputation will be at the end of that because there are
Right.
people who you're like, I wish this dude quit, before. And I've met guys in the teams where I'm like, you are literally the biggest bitch I've ever met in my life, but
Wow.
you did make it through. So, but no, so Hell Week is easy. Is if you, the sooner you can switch, turn that switch of like, this shit is going to suck.
Mhm.
I'm just not going to quit. I'm just going to do everything they say until literally my body breaks. Or I finish on,
Mhm.
on Saturday or Friday, whatever it is. It once you get that switch, and it depends on when people get that switch. Some people um, it's Tuesday. Some people it's Wednesday. I feel like I really had the switch kind of go off like Tuesday morning of like, okay, this is like I accept everything. Which and in a faith based, we could talk about that too. Like I just
Mhm.
completely submit to what is about to happen to me, and whatever happens, happens. But I'm just going to keep doing what I'm told to do. The voices that are telling me to do this, I'm going to listen.
Hmm. That's
Um,
good. That's good.
and
That's good
then
advice.
yeah, so yeah, no, health. So pool comp is miserable. You have to remember a bunch of stuff. You have to go through all these different things, and it's all on you. There's no team. There's
Mhm.
nobody down there giving you air. There's nobody carrying the tank for you. Like if you're in a boat crew, you might have a you're having a whatever. Like I had a really bad ITB like strain or something. So I didn't. There was times where I honestly I didn't carry my weight. I did not do my job f- you know, carrying the weight of that boat or that log or the whatever the case may be throughout Hell Week. And pool comp, it is all on you. It's an individual sport, and you got to remember all these things. Very very stressful. I went to my third attempt on that.
Mm.
Um, After the first two attempts were like under 2 minutes each, so I was like already in my head, and again, like you can't just be like, well, I'm going to pass out. Because, like, yeah, you can, but if you didn't do anything you were supposed to do, you fail.
Yeah.
So it does at that point, everyone knows you're tough because you made it through first phase.
Mhm.
So they expect you to be tough and like not quit. Now it's like, can we teach you something and you retain it with, when you're hypoxic or when you're tired or when you're stressed or when like you're looking at either if you don't finish this, you're going to either get dropped or rolled.
Mhm.
So yeah, pool comp for
Did
sure.
did you, I mean, this is probably a dumb question. I'm sure you've been asked this 1,000 times. What before you even got to basic, were you swimming a ton and running a ton just to kinda be, physically prepared? Because I know everybody says, well, buds is 90% mental and 10% physical, but
Mhm.
obviously you've been through it. Were you really, like, pushing yourself as an individual as far as the swimming and the running component?
Yeah, yeah. Not so much swimming because being in Vermont, it was hard to
Yeah.
get access to stuff like
Right.
that.
Right,
I
yeah.
did I did what I could. I did run a lot, but honestly, I was in way better shape before boot camp than I was after. So it's good to go into boot camp with a base, but I've talked to younger guys who want to go, aspiring frogmen. Like,
Mhm.
look, dude, just go into boot camp healthy. You don't need to crush yourself because I promise you, whatever you go in, you will leave way less than.
Yeah.
And then that's what you're going to have dive mo. in boot camp. You're gonna have buds prep after that. Then you're gonna have basic orientation. And again, like you just said it, it's 90% mental. Like they don't ask you to do anything that is crazy, you know.
Mhm.
And you know, some of the most fit guys are the first ones to quit. I mean, there's
Yeah.
Division One athletes, there's Olympians, there's professional people, athletes, you know, just absolute specimens who, you know, could go crush anything outside of buds, and then they're the first people to quit. So it doesn't really have anything to do with your physical fitness levels because everyone is going to be fit anyway. You're trying to be a Navy
Mhm.
SEAL. Um, so your fitness levels are already way above average. It's like, can you endure that every single day for 6 months
Mhm.
with, you know, limited sleep?
Right.
Like that's when it comes in the mental part. Like a day of buds, dude, not hard at all. Really. I mean, ultimate at a grand scheme of things.
Mhm. Well, I wanna ask you this, man. I don't know if you've been asked this question before. You probably have, but, what's your opinion on officers?
uh, I think there's really good ones, and I think
Yeah.
there's some where you're just like, can you just disappear?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it really depends. Honestly, I my class, the officers that I went through all the way through buds with and graduated with were awesome. I was really good friends with almost all of them. There wasn't I don't think there wasn't a single officer where I was like, I can't stand that dude. I
Hmm.
lived with two of them like the entire time. Like through after I think I moved in with two guys um beginning of second phase.
Okay.
And then I lived with them and we moved. We were in Coronado at a house and then they moved down to Imperial Beach and I lived with them all the way through
Nice.
training. And then one of them ended up living with me later on, renting a room from me,
Hmm.
as we were going through or when we were at the team and everything.
Mhm.
So, mhm.
So if you had to pick OCS, Annapolis, or, NROTC, what type of officer would you prefer? An
Um,
any opinion on that?
yeah, I mean, honestly, I mean, all those guys that I was like, was really good friends with, all were from Annapolis.
Oh, really? Okay. That surprises
Yep.
me. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, I know. I figured it would, but yeah, no, it was
Hmm.
they were awesome. I mean, there's a
Well,
couple that were super arrogant, but like for the
mhm.
most part,
Yeah.
they were really cool dudes.
Mm.
Especially once I got past Hell Week, then everything's a
Oh,
lot
I'm
more
sure.
cool too.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I
I'm
would
sure.
say because it was funny, some of these guys that I'm like, dude, that's my boy. There's other guys, I hate that guy. He was so mean to me. I'm like, well, you quit, so yeah.
Yeah,
They were cutthroat, but if you made
yeah.
it through, then it turned out like you'd end up loving these dudes.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a good way to put it. No,
Mhm.
I was just curious, man, because I was an OCS guy and we were looked down upon by the Annapolis dudes. So that I was just curious
Oh,
what your
for
take
sure.
was. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that I would love to hear like OCS, Annapolis guy go back and forth with that, but
oh
for an
yeah.
E-Dog looking at both of them, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, they saw us as E-dogs because, technically we were enlisted first.
Right.
So, not all of them. There was a few that were cool, but there was a couple O's that they kinda turned their nose up, and I'm like, "Whatever, bro." Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
but from the OCS side of the house, you could relate to the E-dogs a little bit easier because they seem to respect us a little, at least it felt that way. I feel like I can
uh-huh.
kinda bond with them more, and I had a Black Label Society shirt on one day, so one of the enlisted guys like, "Oh, sir, you listen to metal?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I listen to metal." So then we like hit it off because I was like one of them. I wasn't like some pompous asshole from
Right.
some Ivy League school, you know. So,
Yeah,
but I just had to ask you that, dude. I was just curious.
yeah.
Um, Without getting too much into it, like, did you want to go West Coast or East Coast once you graduated SQT?
I wanted to go East Coast,
Okay.
honestly. That's where I think the guys I mean, I was just really close with everybody in my SQT class, I think, for the most part. But like the guys that I was like really hung out with the most were the enlisted guys were all going, and the officers too were all going East Coast.
Okay.
Um, and I'm from, you know, being from Vermont, I
Yeah.
wanted to go there. But my well, we were married too, but Ashley had orders to an aircraft carrier 'cause she was in the Navy also. We
Mm.
joined the Navy together,
Oh wow.
from Vermont, which was kind of funny. But, yeah, so she had got orders to the, you know, an aircraft carrier in Coronado,
Oh,
which
okay.
is it worked out, and then we ended up getting married in SQT. But so I ended up switching and getting going to West Coast.
Okay, cool. Cool. Well, that makes sense. I mean, that's really cool that worked out like that for you.
Mhm.
How was that, man? How was that being married? You know, you're a SEAL and then you've got your spouse is in the Navy. Like that had to be hard, man.
Yeah, it was. It was. We spent a lot of time away from each other. Um, she went underway a lot during, when I was in Buds and I was SQT. And then I lived in Louisiana after SQT for like 9 months.
Mm.
And she still, had to live in California.
Yeah.
So that was challenging to see, her. She usually flew to me. Um, yeah, it was hard. And then, when I moved back to San Diego, checked in as Team 3, she was still at the carrier. Um, yeah, it was, I was gone all the time. She was gone all the time. So I think that, and that kind of started to set the grounds for, I think, our divorce
Mhm.
and just the way our relationship ended up. But yeah, it was challenging for sure.
Did you stay on the West Coast through your whole career?
Up until the very end of it. So I
Okay.
was I was at Team 3 for like 9 years. Um, and then the training, so I was there for like 2 years and then Louisiana for a little bit. But I'd finished out the last 2.5 years or last 2 years. No, I guess it was three in Virginia Beach at Trade at 2, where I was
Okay.
an instructor. I was there May 22 until May 25 when I got out.
Okay. Wow. So you've only been in the Navy what, a year? May
Not
25?
even
Yeah,
May 20,
wow.
May 29th will be a year.
Well, let's talk about that, and then let's go back into the marriage because I want to ask you this. Like, what was that transition like for you, Alex, when you get out of the Navy? Obviously, you've got the bird on your chest, and now you get out of the Navy. Did you struggle with your identity because you go from being this, you're a pipe hitter and now you're leaving the military? Was that hard transition for you?
Not at first, no. It definitely did hit me like a freaking Mack truck later,
Yeah.
but at first, no. First couple months, it was like, whoa, I can do anything I want. I remember the girl I was dating at the time. We were going up to New York because I had a jujitsu match, and I remember going over the bridge, and I was like, wait a minute. She was driving. I was like, put my feet up, like resting, because I was fighting that night, and so I was just sitting there. I was like, whoa, and she's like, what? Like, what's wrong? I'm like, no, nothing. I, because I just gotten out. I was like, I, um, I don't have to like ask anybody to like go do this, and I don't have to like stress out about like not telling anyone. Like
Mhm.
I don't report to anybody. And just little things like that, like, it's funny to, like, a civilian, like, "Oh, that's weird." I'm like, "No, it is because, like, I didn't put in a leave chit, I didn't
Mhm.
ask anybody, like," and there was times when I've definitely done that before, where I just take off, and
Yeah.
then, it's like, hopefully they don't call me for a piss test or whatever,
Yeah.
um, because
Yeah.
that's happened before. I'm like, "I'm in Boston, so
Shit.
can you, like, put in, like, leave for me?" And luckily I've had that happen where somebody covered for me, but, and that's just unnecessary stress, I should have
Yeah,
just put in
yeah.
the leave shit,
Right,
but,
right.
whatever. And, but stuff like that was cool, just to be like, "Wow, I can really stretch my wings. I can post on the internet, like, something that excites me, and
Mhm,
I can do these things, and I can kind of, I can talk about stuff that maybe I wouldn't before. So those things were good. It was interesting, and I had a great, just like, out of the box moment. And
mhm.
then, um, but I didn't jump into anything. I didn't have a new purpose. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a new career. I was just like, I'm just gonna take some time off and enjoy myself, which I did for sure. But when it got hard, which was probably it probably started to get kind of difficult for me in October, and then ramped up. And then I would say, honestly, probably January or February of this year, I was just in a really, really low, like bad spot of like, what the hell is going on? Like, where am I? What is going on? I am miserable. I'm depressed. I'm so lost. Um, and it was really challenging for me. Um, I was on a bunch of different antidepressants. I was, trying to get in with therapy. I was arguing with people. I was just being honestly a selfish, sappy, sad piece of shit over everything. I was just lost,
Mhm.
and just filled with energy. And it was just negative energy about everything and everyone, including myself. I hated myself. And that was really hard. And I finally hit a point where I reached out to the SEAL Future Foundation, which is phenomenal. They definitely need some credit on this show for sure. But I was just like, I put out in the group, the team guy only chat. I was just like, yo, bros, I'm struggling. I'm not going to hurt myself. I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not going to hurt anybody else. But I am in a really, really bad spot. Like, I need some help because somebody told me about like psilocybin treatments
Mhm.
or ketamine.
Mhm.
So I was like, what are people's opinions on this? And the support I got was like overwhelming. I was just like, stop messaging me because so many people were calling me and hitting me up. It was incredible. Um, I had friends call me that I have not talked to in like 10 years. I haven't talked to them since, but they called me that like right after, like, how are you doing? And I was like, dude, I was surprised to see your number. But like, I still have your number. And like, I haven't talked to you in 10 years. They're like, yeah, dude, I saw your post. Just wanted to check in on you. And then every one of them was like, when'd you get out? I was like, May. And they're like, of last year? I was like, yeah. So at this point, it was, 6, 7, 8 months. And they're like, ah, yeah. They're like, that 6 to 9 months is really bad.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. Doesn't matter. They're like, sometimes it's 9 to 12 months. And then it just gets better. Can't explain it. It just gets better. So they're like, just ride this out, ride that wave, and you'll be fine. And I was like, dude, are you sure? Like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, no, you're good. And yeah, honestly, the last like probably 3, 4 weeks have just everything's just starting to fall in place, and I've been in a way better spot. So
Good, man, good.
um yeah, it's been awesome. So I would definitely say like that's something that's be aware of that if you're getting out of the military, whether you're a SEAL or you're a cook or whatever, it doesn't matter. I would just prepare yourself for that 6 to 12 month part where probably going to be like, what the fuck is
Mhm.
happening right now? It probably helps if you have a job and like something that distracts you and whatever. But if you don't, I would just say like prepare yourself for that. So it was tough.
But Alex, here's the thing, and I want people to hear this that are watching. A man with your background, dude, and I
Mhm.
mean, you go on your Instagram for 5 minutes, you can tell you're a badass, whether you know you're a sealer or not. You asked for help, and
Yeah.
you weren't made fun of, and that
Mm-mm.
takes more courage to step out and ask for help. And then you had all these guys, like you said, that you hadn't talked to in 10 years, reach out. So if you're
Yeah.
watching this, man, it's okay if you need help. Like, ask for help. Don't
Yeah.
feel like you have to do it all on your own. It doesn't make you weak to reach out and say, "Hey, I need help, guys." Like, and that's really what I think more men need to hear, especially coming from a guy like you, man, with your background. Because
Yeah, I would say even like, double down. Like if you like not asking for help, like you're being arrogant, you're being selfish, and you're being stupid.
yeah,
You're not being tough. Like trying to hold that all in because you think it's tough
hmm,
is not tough because you're not showing anybody your vulnerabilities.
right,
If you're tough, you can show your vulnerabilities and still exceed and accelerate and elevate yourself with those exposed things. So
hmm,
exposing that you're hurt, the right people are going to come to your aid and they're going to give you the resources. They're going to give you the help. They're going to coach you. They're going to talk to you. They're going to point you in the right way. Like the veteran network is the most toxic, but also the most helpful thing possible for veterans. Like like I said, all I had to do was say, I need help.
Mhm.
And, I got flooded to the point where I was like, I got to turn my phone off because people won't leave me alone. And, and then I just, because I'll talk to my therapist or I pop some stupid pills the VA gave me and be like, well, I hope this helps.
Mhm.
No, it's not going to help.
Yeah.
Because you're not telling anybody, you're not putting it out there.
Mhm.
And no, not a single person made fun of me. Not a single person judged me. Not a single person said anything negative to me. Like I said, and you said it too. I had people reach out to me that I haven't talked to in 10 years. Like people care about you so much more
Mhm.
than you even realize, especially in our community. I can't speak for non-soft, but for soft, like, dude, people care so much. Like these are your brothers. They fucking love you.
Mhm.
They took an oath to die for you. That didn't really go away. These
Yeah.
people still care about you. And it's a lot easier to just do something for someone or to point them in the way than for them to pick up the phone call and be like, "Yo, bro, I love you." Because that does happen. I'm not even good at it, but I do. I've had a few friends who like they'll literally finish the phone call with me like, "I love you, bro,"
Mhm.
and I always say it back because I do. I truly do. Um, but but then you'll hear someone else tell you that one of your boys was talking about you in a way that you're like, dude, I didn't know you thought that about me. And they're like, I'm not telling you that. You're like, well, you don't have to. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're gay. Like,
I knew you were gonna say that, dude.
so
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
but
funny.
yeah, no, like people love you and you just got to ask for help. And there's
Yep.
no shame in that. You cannot do anything on your own.
Mm-mm.
Besides, like the military is a team. It's
Mhm.
called the SEAL teams.
Yeah.
You cannot do this by yourself. There's no such thing as a solo team guy. That doesn't even make sense. And
Yeah.
that's not my line. Somebody told me that because when I was talking to one of these guys, like, dude, I'm trying to do all this. He's like, yeah, because you're an idiot. I was like, what? He's like, you're trying to be a solo team guy. That doesn't even make sense. He's like, you did everything with a minimum a swim buddy. Then you had a fire team. Then you had a squad. Then you had a platoon. Then you had a troop. Then you had a team. Then you had a group. He's like, then you had like NSW. Then you have the SOCOM. Then you have the
Mhm.
list goes on. You are never alone. You've never done anything alone. Then you get out and you try to do this alone. It's like you're dumb. Like that's not how this works. You
Yeah.
have to lean on people, and there are people who are always going to be there for you no matter what. And there's so many nonprofits and organizations out there. I promise you, there's something for everybody. So taking your own life is not the answer. And trust, I've thought about it, dude. I've got a ton of guns. I could pick whichever one I want, and I've thought about it. But I had jujitsu, and I had my kids, I had my faith. Those are the things that it's like I didn't have those. I would not be here right now.
Mhm.
Um, and those are things I try to do on my own. When I start talking to other people and replace that negative energy with positive energy, things get a lot easier. And you'd be so surprised. I cannot say that enough. I mean, I probably could go on for the next hour and say that, but I'm not going to. I think I said it enough.
Well, I
You
wanna say
have
that,
people who will support you.
and I wanna say this too, man, and this is one of the reasons I love doing this show, is I feel like there are so many podcasts out there, and without getting political, the military is always kinda put on this pedestal when it comes to, the operators. But a lot of times when you watch shows, it's more about the glory days. It's
Mm,
more about like what operation or what. So it's cool to have you come on and to speak like this and to say, hey, I did ask for help. And there it is a team effort. We love each other. It's not just, yeah, I was a badass and I did this, and which that
yeah,
stuff is cool. It's cool, man.
yeah,
But like
yeah,
the 18-year-old kid watching this needs to hear the vulnerability and the humility coming out, where it's more than just going in and like crushing life. Like you're going to have to ask for help because you can't do it all on your own. And I think that's an important thing for like the everyday dude out walking around hearing, hey, you know what, man, this guy's a Navy SEAL and he asked for help and he focuses on his mental health. Maybe I should too.
right.
Instead of just being like the 80s when you're just a badass and you don't have any feelings, because all that shit just gets you into more trouble.
Yep.
I'm living proof of that. I want to walk
Uh-huh.
you back a little bit, man, because I want to cover, like I mentioned in the introduction, I want to talk about divorce. So I've been divorced twice, and I personally feel that men do not have enough support when it comes to this type of space when it applies to divorce, man. Are you comfortable getting into that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Can you walk us through? So I'm assuming that obviously with the both of you being in the Navy, you said that kind of played a role. You didn't see each other a lot. Um, how was it for you, Alex, when you like when you got divorced? How did that hit you? Like what was that moment like for you?
I was still pretty numb to it. Honestly, I was that guy that just like shut everything out for when I was active duty. I didn't have feelings. I just focused like I'm just a killing machine. Tell
Mhm,
me what to do, and that was it. You could have told me I won $1 million. I would have been like, cool. You could have told me my mom died. I'd been like, damn, what's next?
mhm,
Like I was numb to everything. Um, so and I got divorced in the Navy, so it didn't really hit me so much. But I think that as, time went on and because I got divorced pretty much, I got my divorce finalized in April of last year. And then, like I
mhm.
said, I got out in May. So I had like 2 massive transitions going on at the same time.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Um, yeah. And then, I didn't really process it that well, or at all, really. It just kind of was like, "Oh, okay." Like, because 'cause we've been separated too since, March the year prior. So, and then we lived in the same house until June, and then we split. I got a new house. She got a new house. We had 50-50 of the kids. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It was, I didn't, I didn't really process it as well as I should have. Um, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, honestly, but we ended up going to couples therapy last year for a little bit for co-parenting.
Mhm,
Not really reconciliation,
mhm,
but we just worked through a little bit of stuff. But the thing is with couples therapy, especially when it comes to divorce couple, um, you both gotta kind of want to do it,
mhm,
and I feel like that just wasn't really the case. Um, but there was a lot of hurt between both of us. Like we get along to be co-parents,
mhm,
and that is kind of the hard reset if we ever get to like kind of shitty with each other. But there's still definitely a lot of stuff that probably will never be unpacked from that.
mhm,
But it definitely it'll wear you down. It'll stress you out because like and again like we've known each other for like 15 years. We started off as first colleagues. We worked at a hotel in Vermont, and then we became friends, and then we started going to the gym. And we started hanging out. Then we started dating. She joined the Navy. I joined the Navy shortly thereafter. Um, Dated all the way through Buds SQT. Got married, and then like boom, we're both like in our Navy career. Like we're through our schools, we're through all these things, and now like we're doing the thing, doing the job, whatever. So we and then we had 2 kids, and we moved a couple times. We had a bunch of properties together. So like we've been through a ton of stuff.
mhm,
Um, but like emotionally, our connection just wasn't really there. I say like it's kind of like we got married here, and then we went like this.
mm,
So our relationship stayed down here, but we as individuals kind of did that. Um, but there was still things that kind of did go with us, like life experiences, and we'd see each other, and talk all the time. But so it was different. I would say it's not like any other divorce that I've heard of, anyway. So yeah, and that makes it challenging in its own way too. I think, like, because we don't hate each other,
yeah.
but and we share 2 kids, so I don't know. I'm probably not answering this as good as you were hoping.
No, I'm listening to you because I'm relating my own personal experience, and I think it's refreshing to hear that you both even attempted the counseling for the kids as
Yeah.
co-parents. I unfortunately don't have any. I can't relate to that with my current situation, but what's co-parenting like for you, man? Like, is it really kind of changed your perspective as a father because now you don't have that family unit? Because I know for me, man, like I've been divorced a little over 3 years, and it's still hard for me, like, waking up on holidays without my son or, like, I have a 2-2-3 schedule. So I have my son every Monday, Tuesday night, then I don't have him on Wednesday or Thursday and have him every other weekend. So, like, I had him what is today? Thursday. I dropped him off at school yesterday morning. I won't see him until Monday afternoon. And it's
Yeah.
still, man, it's like I'm in the house, it's just me, and it's weird. It almost feels like I don't live here. It's like I'm almost
Yeah.
like in a hotel, and it's been like that for a while, but I'm just curious
Yeah.
what you're because I don't I want to really get into this, man, because with this platform, I feel like co-parenting, divorce, being a single dad, like that's so important that
Yeah.
more men need to hear this type of stuff, because there's a lot of them
Yeah.
out there, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I know. And kids need their dads.
Yeah.
Um, so we have 50-50 custody. It's been, again, unique and challenging because I live in North Carolina. She lives in New York.
Okay.
So so they go to school there. They live with her.
Hmm.
So I would travel up there um, to see them. I'd either spend time there, but again, like we get along. So like I would stay at her house. I'd
Oh
just
wow.
sleep in one of the kids in the kids' rooms.
Yeah.
Um, and then she would usually go somewhere and do something. So it'd give me that space and time with the kids. And then if they have a break, they come down here and be with me for however long,
Yeah.
usually like a week or so. Um, but yeah, again, trying to make it work. It's definitely challenging though with the schedule in different states and whatnot. But again, like even more reason for us to get along and
Hmm.
find common ground. Luckily, like we were friends before, so I think that helps. We didn't just like meet at a bar or meet on a dating app or whatever and then meet and just like skip that whole build up phase like we and just jump straight into a relationship. So I think that's why it kind of makes it a little more unique. We
Hmm.
weren't like high school sweethearts, but like you know shortly after I met her in 18, like fall after high school.
Hmm.
So you know
How old are your kids?
5 and 8.
Oh wow. Okay.
Mhm.
I have a soon to be 8-year-old little boy, and then I have a 16-year-old daughter. I've got 2 divorces, so 2 different moms, but, each
Yeah.
has a different custody arrangement, but, because I have
Yeah.
50-50 too, but it's, she's the primary parent, so kinda
Yeah.
long story, but, let me ask you this, man. So do you feel like, and I'm not trying to sound negative with this question, but, because, they all say this when you join the Navy that the divorce rate's super high and the SEAL teams and all that. Do you feel like, being a SEAL negatively impacted your marriage or your relationship?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. It's like 95%, I think.
Yeah, I knew it was high. I knew it was real high.
Yeah.
And it's really cool though to hear that you guys are still able to maintain a friendship though, because I don't
Yeah.
think you don't hear that a lot, man. At least in today's culture, usually
No,
it's
no,
more.
we don't. I mean, she's got, I mean, mostly her, my friends or whatever about it, but like a lot of her friends have like scolded her, like lectured her about how getting along with me, how she didn't try to like sue me or take me to court for like,
Mm,
bro, I didn't pay anything.
yeah.
She paid $600 to have a lawyer like write up and notarize our divorce decree.
Hmm.
We never went to court for
Wow.
anything. I consulted a lawyer. I gave him $100 for him to look at this. And he's like, dude, you don't need me. Like,
Hmm.
you're good. And I was like,
Wow.
okay, cool. So it was very easy for us. And we also were just like, why would we waste money on all these things? Like, let's just come to an agreement
Yeah.
and just split things 50-50. And we are, but again, let's flip that switch and just understand that this is going to suck when it comes to dividing things. But let's just get it over with and let's finish
Mhm.
this because we had, well, she's not my friend, but one of her friends, her and her dude, I don't even know if they're divorced now, honestly, but they spent like over $250,000 going back
Dang.
and forth because they're just arguing over the dumb little
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, dude, that's like You could buy another house for that,
Yeah.
like,
No kidding.
but go buy your dream car, like, what do
Yeah.
you what are you doing? Like, you're going to court and arguing over fucking lawn chairs?
Yeah, that's
Stupid.
crazy. That's crazy,
Yeah.
man. Well, that's really cool to hear that you guys are, putting the kids first, man. That's especially in today's world. Um, let's shift gears before I get into faith. I wanna bring up alcohol, man.
Mhm.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
So you're sober now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long so walk us through that, man. Like I know for me, I never respected alcohol and I used it to numb and to try to escape, to not think about, childhood trauma, failure,
Mhm.
shame, all that kind of stuff. Like kind of can you walk us through kind of your relationship with alcohol?
Yeah, so I drink probably, like, after high school. I was kind of a menace. If you've seen on my other podcasts, I kinda talk about kinda some of the stuff I'd done after high school. Like, I was, sold drugs for a while and just hanging out with bad people, um, and just, like, partying all the time. Then I wasn't super into alcohol. I definitely drank quite a bit, but I wasn't, like, a drunk or, like,
Mhm.
obsessed with it, but I would drink a lot. Um, and then, joining the Navy, throughout buds, pretty much got drunk, like, every weekend.
Mhm.
Um, and then same thing, SQT, definitely a lot of drinking, at the team, especially during ULT, going on trips. And it's like, it doesn't even really matter if you want to or not, you kinda have to,
Mhm.
just to, like, get, like, assimilated with the boys, especially when
Yeah.
you're trying to cut your teeth there. You're
Yeah.
like, I gotta drink because, like, literally people will not trust me if I don't go out
Yep.
and drink.
Yep.
Um, so I spent a lot of time drinking when I didn't really even want to, but I had to. Um, and then and you're just around it, and it got me into trouble quite a bit too. That's on another podcast. I, like, charged a ton of drinks to a credit card and then a room of a hotel that I wasn't, you know, again, trying to improve my social status, um, in the with the guys, and it, resulted to alcohol. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I, yeah, I never got in trouble for like drinking, but I got in trouble for what I did while I was drinking, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can relate to that. Yeah, I can relate to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And then, yeah, and then but honestly, once I started, like, getting super competitive into jujitsu, I just kind of stopped.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, and then honestly too, when I think I hit like 30, like, I just get hung over just like 2 or 3 beers, or
Mhm.
like, I used to, Ashley and I used to drink, my ex-wife, we used to drink like a bottle of wine and play this like card game, or this game called like Sequence. And like, that was our thing. And we started, and then as we got older, I'm like, dude, I'm freaking hungover. And, like, I just had some wine. And then, then the girls, both girls I dated after her, like, I was already over 30 and just drinking. And both of them is when I really got into jiu-jitsu. And, yeah, just like I'd get hungover and I'm like, dude, I didn't even drink, this isn't worth it.
Mhm.
Now I miss Saturday training, which is usually competition training, at the gyms I used to go to back in Virginia. And I just feel like gross. So I just kind of slowly stopped. And now, yeah, now I don't drink at all.
Okay. Do you miss it at all?
No.
No? That's awesome,
I mean,
man. That's
I wouldn't say I'm like completely sober.
okay.
If I have like I had another one of my friends, I went and saw him in Virginia probably like a month or two ago, and just like pulled up to his house, and he's a little bit older than me, but and this is when I was going through some stuff, and
Mhm.
he's like, you want a whiskey, and I'm like, not really, but he's like, oh man, I got this bottle I wanted to open with. I'm like, all right, sure.
Yeah.
And then he opens up. He had a massive bar. It was all set up, and then he like opened up a safe and
Hmm.
pulled a bottle out. I didn't see what it was,
Wow.
but I was like, well, I can't say no to that. He's like literally locked up. So
Yeah.
he poured that. I don't know what it was, but it was good. I just had the one though, because I was still like, I like, thank you, but I don't want any more.
Yeah, yeah.
It was kind of just like a good way. Again, it was like, let's break some bread. Like we've talked a bunch, but I've never like sat down one on one with him.
Mhm,
And so it was more of like a respect thing. I
mhm.
felt like, because again, that's just the culture um, that we kind of grew up in.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
I don't think alcohol is bad. I just, I think you have to respect it, and it sounds like you were very self-aware when you made that decision, like, "Hey, I'm gonna back off," and now when you're hanging out with, your friend, you're able to, to, to respect it, because I think a lot of guys don't respect it, and they get out of control with it, so,
yeah,
um
for sure.
now I wanna bring this back to, faith, because you mentioned earlier you kinda put faith on a shelf for a while.
Yeah.
What made you reach back up on that shelf to kind of go back into, the right path with the Lord and stuff?
Just kind of hit. Oh dang it, the rolly chair. Dad, I'll get dad of the year next year. Um,
That's awesome.
yeah, I don't know. Again, like I mean, you said it kind of at the beginning. Like if you burn everything down, and you're like, what's left?
Mhm.
And God is always there. So
Yeah.
I just hit a few times where I'm like, I got nothing left. It's not in me to quit. I don't even know how to do that. But I I don't know. I just started doing it. Like, and then I listened to. I'm not Catholic. I'm just Christian, like regular old Christian. But I have the Hallow app,
Mhm.
and I do the men's daily devotional
Yeah.
um, with okay, and um, and then a Father Mike Schmidt's daily minute homily. Those are like non-negotiables. I listen to those every single day.
Nice.
Um, and then so that's kind of always there. Even when I like was in those dark spots, I would just like put that on, and like maybe
Okay.
it'll something today will hit me. And so that's kind of like the baseline. And then um, I do a lot of audiobooks as well. And so I listen. I did one of my friends had told me about again, I'm not Catholic, but he is super Catholic. He told me about Why We're Catholic and the book. And I listened to that, and it kind of explained a lot of different things, which was cool. And
Mhm.
then um I listened to I just finished up I forget the name of it. Uh, but another like really good book about like faith.
Mhm.
Um and then probably the best book ever on faith that I've read, and by read I mean listened to. Actually, I did read it once. I had the hard copy. Um, but Wild at Heart by John
I
Eldridge.
love that
I was
book,
gonna say,
man.
I was like, you
Love that
gotta,
book.
you have to know that book. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's phenomenal. And the thing is like with faith too, um, and this has happened a few times, but it's definitely happened more recently. That there are times where I just stare at that book. I was like, I should read that,
Mhm.
but I'm not ready. And
Yeah.
that's not like that. There's no such thing as you're not ready,
Right.
or I'm not ready to listen to this. Let me listen to this. Um, and you got to ignore that. And I think that, and I was talking to one of my friends that I used to go to school with. She's she's in her 50s, totally different background, and of course than me in every regard. But was it was talking. She just kind of was getting with her faith as well. And I was like, look, I'm struggling with these things, and the more the closer I get to God, and the more I pray, the more like bad things happen to me, and like stressors
Yeah.
come up, and like the more
Yeah.
I get attacked, it feels like. Um, and there's what's that like? The devil doesn't care about lukewarm Christians.
Yep.
But, hey, um, hold on, drop to the AirPod. The more I would pray and read, or I listen to a lot of YouTube sermons now
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
Um, and it was like now why is this happening? Why are these things popping up? Why are these stressors coming at me? Like, I'm being tested more than ever before. And there's times where I'm just like, well, maybe I don't want to listen to this. Maybe I want to put on Little Baby and listen to some like death metal and just,
Yeah.
rock out and go beat, the anger out in the gym or
Hmm.
on a heavy bag or something. Um, but that's, you got to fight through that as well.
Yeah. I really like the book Beautiful Outlaw by John Eldridge. That changed my whole relationship with Jesus.
Dude,
I
okay, I'll have to look that up.
It's good because, like, he basically the overview is to put Christ in everything you do
Uh,
and talk to him like you and I are talking right now.
yeah,
So you don't have to hit the floor and be in a closet and be on your knees. That's important. You still need to do that stuff, but put him in everything you do. And it helped me in the early stages of co-parenting when I dealt with my son's mom every day. It helped me kind of compose myself, try to put Christ in the moment so then I wouldn't be reactive because I've been a very reactive person most of my life,
dude. Yeah, me too.
especially
Me
when
too.
somebody's jawing in my face in a public
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
But that it just changed my whole perception because I never realized, hey, I can just talk to Jesus all the time. I don't have to,
He's always
even
there. Yeah,
yeah, even if I
yeah.
screwed up and acted like an idiot, I can still talk to him. So no, I think
Mhm.
that's great, man. And I mean, I'm assuming that really kind of helped you too with your mental health, like doing those daily practices and putting God in everything you do.
Yeah, yeah. That somebody had told me too, and this kind of helped. Again, more reason to talk to people about these things.
Hmm.
But it's like prayer is for talking, like and asking God for things, where like meditation is for listening.
Hmm.
Because like you have to kind of quiet everything and
Hmm.
just sit there and listen. Um, and I really like that. So now, like in the mornings, part of my morning routine is like after my alarm goes off, I just no phone, nothing, just try to just be silent.
Yeah.
Just try to listen, um, and see what I hear. Um, so yeah,
I had a guy on the show last night. He said the same thing. He said, it usually takes about 30 minutes, but if you want to hear
yep,
God, be quiet and you'll hear him.
yeah, yep. As I
So,
say, yeah, 20, 30 minutes minimum of just
mhm,
silence, no distractions. Like that's when you're gonna hear something. You
mhm,
know. Um, Yeah, and there I saw it was an older on a YouTube video, kind of when I was on like a faith rabbit hole of just like things just playing. It wasn't even like really faith based. It could definitely be that, but talking about just like sitting against the complete silence for 20, 30 minutes, and like the ideas that will start coming to your head
mhm.
are just can change your life. Whether it's a business, it's a conversation you need to have, a relationship that needs mending, whatever, just sitting there and just reflecting in silence, like your mind. And this was probably back in like the 50s or 60s as it was black and white, the video. But like now we're so overstimulated all the
Mhm,
time. There's always a noise, there's always something. So, like it's harder than ever to really find that.
mhm,
But when you do, that silence can be so loud because you're so used to everything just jumping at your face and in your
mhm.
ears. And so that's very important, I believe, faith or not, to just take some time to unplug completely and just be in your own head and your own heart and see what comes up.
Yeah, and I'm glad you shared that because, Russ was on the last episode talking and talking about PTSD, and there's so much noise in the world, and just
Mhm.
doing the meditation, waiting to hear from God and to slow down because everything we do is just so noisy now. It's constantly like, look at our phones. I mean, it's constant, drama coming at us all day long.
Yeah,
So to
yeah.
disassociate from that and to just, set aside time to be quiet. And I think that's good that you shared that. Tell us about your coaching business, man, and your
Mhm.
entrepreneur life.
Yeah. So I started off with a clothing company, LFW Clothing Co. Which stands for Look for Work. I started that before I got out in October of 23. It's kind of changed it a little bit, but it's up and running still at lfwcc.com. And then I got into the coaching probably August 24 when I was in Germany before I got out. Just was coaching some people online, um, like friends and family of friends and family. And then earlier this year, I started my own website and company, um, just alexrogerscoaching.com. And then it started off again, that's kind of morphed as I've grown, it's grown. But I started the three H's, which I started like kind of running myself through when I was a new guy and ULT going through land warfare, hard, humble, hungry, and like what those mean to me. Kind of have like a breakdown of that. And then when I started the Alex Rogers coaching, like and started the company, um, and kind of putting more effort and energy into it, I came up with the 5 F's framework. There's other stuff out there that's similar, but I think mine's definitely a little bit different and obviously better. But um, so it's faith is and this is, can be in any particular order, but this is how I have it: faith, family slash relationships, fitness, finances, and future. And kind of breaking those down, how, tailoring them to whatever goal you want. That's where the coaching comes in,
Nice.
and then helping um, you find like a mentor or a coach in each one of those things. And
Hmm.
you could have a your pastor could be a CrossFit masters athlete. He probably he might be able to coach you on your fitness too. Like
Hmm.
um, or maybe you have like the guy you work out at the gym is also a CPO, um, or he's a banker, or whatever. Like you can double down. But
Yeah.
just having someone for each of those 5 things that you can really lean on and get some mentorship out. Because again, you can't do everything alone. Like, yeah,
No.
you can watch YouTube and use Chat GPT to answer some questions, but but having someone that you can interact with and talk to. So I help develop that. Like my programs that I've come up with are to set you up to go forth and prosper on your own. Because like
Nice.
again, I'm not trying to make a ton of money off someone. I want you to sign with me for 90 days. I want you to
Hmm.
give me 90 days of effort. We'll go through the hard, humble, hungry, and then we'll hit the 5 F's. And then we'll come up with a plan to, a skeleton outline of like, what are you going to do for this? If you like, I could definitely be your fitness guy, 100%.
Hmm.
And I think that you'll more than get your money's worth by hiring me for that. But then when it comes to planning out your future, maybe you want someone a little older and wiser. Um, somewhat, maybe you have a therapist for your family and relationships. Maybe you have, you know, an accountant for your finances. And then you have someone who is, not who, doing other things, but faith is their primary.
Hmm.
That's kind of it's about really. It's like finding someone that's their primary thing.
Yeah.
So that you can continue to do what you got to do, but you have these touch points for those 5 things, to really continue to optimize and perform at your best, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially. Um, yeah, that's kind of where I go. Like, the emphasis definitely on fitness because that's what I'm passionate about. It's what I know the most about.
Hmm.
But I've got a good baseline in everything else, in the finances, in the family relationships, like we talked about it here. My faith. I use all of these things, but again, like I don't want to be your one point like of contact because one
Hmm.
point of contact is one point of failure. So if I give you bad word and you go do something, then it's like, well, now what? So
Yeah.
um, that's kind of where I do the coaching thing. It's to set somebody up. Give me 90 days. I'll change your life because it's going to be you're gonna change your own life, but I'm going to help you do that.
It's awesome, man. Plug that
Mhm.
website one more time.
But it's just alexrogerscoaching.com.
Nice. And I'll put that in the notes on the
Cool.
episode so people can click that link and go to it. Let's talk about kind of as we're wrapping up, dude. Let's talk about the jujitsu side of Alex. Like, can you
Mhm.
get into that a little bit?
Yeah, yeah. So jujitsu is definitely my number one passion right now. I love jujitsu. Um, there are days where I don't want to go, but I need to go. Um, and that really kind of ties back to the mental health.
Hmm.
it's been a huge part of my life, especially with the transition out of the military. It's a great place to find like-minded men. It's a great way to push yourself. It's a great way to stay fit, and it's a great way to get some like stress out and to kind of find a different side of your personality,
Mhm.
uh, or reveal it rather. And you can do anything from just show up 2 or 3 times a week, do the beginner class, and be a hobbyist. I think that will still change your life and help you out tremendously. Or you can hit it at, hardcore and train, you know, 9, 10, 12 hours a week and travel all over the country like I do and trying to compete as much as you can, like I do. Jiu-jitsu is for everybody. Um, so it's been awesome for me. Not more than just a physical aspect, but like it's basically human chess.
Mhm.
You're solving problems in real time with another body. You also just get this aura of confidence and with your competency. Um, and then if you want to, go on super fight events and do shows, like you can kind of lean into that like entertainer side without being like a loud, ridiculous like person that you're maybe not. Because I'm not like a showy person. Like I'm not. I don't want to go on a movie. I don't want to have my own talk show. I don't want to be a Hollywood person.
Mhm.
But I am one of the most entertaining people to watch when I fight. Everyone always tells me that they love watching me fight. That's why I get invited to a lot of these things,
Hmm.
is
Nice.
because I put on a show. I'm fun to watch, and because of that, it's opened up a ton of opportunities. A lot of people like talking to me, and it's been great for me to do interviews, to do podcasts, to do speaking events. I've been invited to go to be like a VIP at some nonprofit events and kind of share my story. And
Nice.
it came from jujitsu. Like that was
Hmm.
kind of how I got out. And I go back to the identity thing.
Mhm.
Like I was so against like talking about my job because everyone's like, oh, Navy SEALs, all they do is they got good hair, they do movies, they do podcasts, they write books. Like, oh, they're just a bunch of pretty boys. Like that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I do have pretty good hair. I
You
gotta
do have
say.
good hair, dude. I don't have
Thank
any hair. That's why I got a hat
yeah,
on.
yeah.
So
So I mean, that part's true.
yeah,
But
that's funny.
no, but where was I going with that? But yeah, I mean, it's just been a way for me to kind of get out there and do things. Because this is where I was going. When I got out, I didn't want to talk about my job.
Yeah.
I didn't want anyone to know I was a SEAL. I didn't even tell anybody. I was like, oh yeah, I was like in the Navy. And because I was so against talking about it. But then and I think that honestly had a lot to do with um, the problems I was having. And I think that
Mhm.
and I at first I was super judgy. I was hateful towards guys who got out. I was a SEAL. I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, so
Yeah.
what? Like, I went to Buds too.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad. I went to Iraq too. Like, whatever, dude. I'm tired
Yeah.
of hearing these stupid war stories.
Mhm.
And but then I'm like, well, what the hell am I going to talk about? If
Yeah.
somebody's like, well, you're 30 something years old. What have you done since high school? I was in the Navy. Well, what'd you do? Don't worry about it.
Hmm.
Well, what did you do? Who are you? And, a little piece of metal on your chest doesn't define who you are. The person underneath it is. But like,
Mhm.
also, the person who is underneath that piece of metal is what brought value to that metal. I would like to
Mhm.
think anyway. And I was a SEAL. I wore that badge of honor because of who I am as a person. And because of who I am as a person, afforded me the opportunity to do these opportunities, to go to different countries, to see these things, to do these things, to meet these people, to have, just the confidence to do these things. And that's when I started like telling my story. And I was just like, man, my story's not that interesting. But then people started hearing, like, dude, you have to tell this more. You have to tell this more. I'm like, okay, I guess I will. And then I started doing it. And then, so I'm not trying to tell war stories and tell how cool or badass and tough I am when it came to being a SEAL, because there's enough of that. I did it. It was awesome. I loved it. But that chapter is closed. I'm
Yeah.
on to something else right now. And that's also kind of a point I want to hit too, is like, just because you were this super freaking cool badass dude for, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, 30 years, whatever the case may be, does not mean that that is the end of your book. And you're
Mhm.
just going to sit up there and sit on your couch and eat freaking bonbons and watch American Sniper on repeat. Like, and that's the thing, is people do that shit. I'm just like,
Yeah.
dude, get the fuck up and go do
Yeah.
something else. You're pissing me off because you have so much more to offer to someone. Tell your story,
Mhm.
but make sure you still have a pen in your hand. Okay? Because like that chapter is over, and it's yours. You should be able to talk about that without shame or without guilt. And if you,
Mhm.
you have some douchebag from your past call you up and be like, "Oh, you're talking scraping gold off the trident," or "You're talking about this," and you get these stupid comments on Instagram. "Oh, I was a Marine. I'm like, my boot camp was tougher than yours." Like, you know what? Good for, dude. That shit that happens.
Winter
That
Hell Week
happens.
class.
Yeah, it's like, dude, come on. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to hear it. I don't. I really don't. What are you doing right now, bro?
Right,
You're sitting
right.
on your phone talking shit because
Yep,
you haven't done anything else. And I don't want
yep.
to like be mean to you because I'm a veteran too. But like,
Yeah.
you have to continue writing your story.
Mhm.
What, and you have to be able to talk about yours at the same time. And you can talk about yours without hating on someone else's.
Mhm.
And, that's kind of my whole thing. And I'm definitely an aggressive, blunt person. I fight for fun all
Yeah.
over the time, right now. So of course I'm going to snap back a little bit. And I need to be not less reactive as well. And I am working on that.
Yeah.
I'm not by
I
no
gassed you
means.
up though. I gassed you up a little bit, so you can
Yeah.
blame me for
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, but I'm
Well,
responsible for myself. So but yeah, I mean, and I think that again, that was a hard thing because I wasn't talking about it for a while, or I
yeah.
would, and I feel guilty about it. Like, oh, I hope so and so doesn't see this, like, and I'm
Right.
like, well, why am I stressing out about this? Now I got out of the Navy to get rid of these stressors, and now I'm
Mhm.
out of the Navy and I have these stressors, and I'm worried about this. Just do what you're gonna do, and if people hate on you, whatever,
Yeah.
keep moving forward because like I said in the beginning, I promise you there are way more people than you realize that love you and care
Mhm.
about you and support you, even if they don't tell you. Keep doing what you're doing. Have someone like be a sounding board for you. Be like, yo, bro, like you need to knock that shit off. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll readjust. But for the most part, 90% or more of what you're doing is the right thing to do. But being an aggressive alpha male with a background in the military, you got your freaking big muscles, you have your tattoos, you have like, your jacked up truck or your fast car, like all your motorcycle, whatever the case may be. You carry a knife, you wear a gun all the time. Like, you're a badass. That does not mean that you can't do something else and that there aren't people who are going to love you and hold you accountable. Um, I think it's very important that people continue to do that. And that's been my whole push. And jujitsu is the vehicle, but the destination is like what I'm talking about, like getting people to continue telling their story and writing their story because human beings are so incredibly unique and special, but also we're all the same at the same time. So I want people to understand that everybody is somebody to
Mhm.
someone, and everyone is worth living, and everyone has a story worth telling. So
I wanna share a couple things real quick, and I'm gonna hit on the SEAL side of it last. So like I love how you just brought up there's more to life than what you did in the military because there's so many dudes, man, that you see on Instagram, that you see out in amongst the general population that just they're like a billboard, like a walking billboard. Like, "Oh, I was a Marine. You salute me," and all this and I live in the South,
yeah,
dude. You're in the South, in North Carolina. And it's like, bro, like, that's cool, man. Like, thank you for your service, all that. But
right,
like, but
yeah,
relax, man. Like,
yeah,
like, but here's the thing, dude. Like, this is what I love about this show. We talked a lot about faith. We talked about Christ, and I know where I live. I'm near Nashville, and I'm in the Bible Belt, and a lot of the church going, preachers with sneakers, all those types. They don't have the background like you do, man. They don't have the
Preachers in
text.
sneakers.
That's
That's
what they
funny.
call it, like the
Yeah.
the charismatic church and all that, you know.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
you're coming from a background, you know, you're a meat eater, you've got the tats, now you're fighting, you're doing all this cool guy stuff, but you're humble and you're telling people to it's okay to ask for help. You need to
Yeah.
focus on this, but you're talking about Jesus. And I think right now, dude, we need more men like yourself that are out proclaiming Christ that have a background that's not a youth pastor, a preacher, a deacon, an elder, but it's a guy who's been to war, who's been through one of the hardest schools in the military and doesn't look like the everyday average Christian bouncing around that's
Yeah.
just basically hiding shit because they don't want to be real. They're not authentic. You, man, you're real, you're authentic, and we need more of that because I'm not gonna name any names on here, and you probably know who I'm talking about. There's a dude in my town that bird does a lot of talking, man, on that he had on his chest, and he's good at what he does, but it's like, dude, you've got a platform to help people, but most of the time he's just pounding his chest and sharing stories. I respect the job. I really do, man. And you had the career that I thought I was going to have, but God had other plans for me. So now
Hmm.
I'm comfortable. I figured out what my purpose was. It took me a long time to understand it, but I thought my purpose was out in Coronado, but it wasn't. And
Yeah.
this other cat though, he just kind of it's like, dude, you've got a platform that's massive. You can help people. Like
Yeah.
we get it, dude. The job is badass. It's amazing. But let's help some folks. You know, let's spread the gospel. Let's show people like, hey, it's
Yeah.
okay to work on your mental health. Get the tats, have the muscles, do whatever. But like
Right.
surrender to Christ. That takes more
Yeah.
power and strength than anything else, in my opinion. You
I
know.
no, I totally agree. I was just talking to somebody about this like 2 weeks ago. Just about and at a jujitsu gym. We just stayed after, had our I call 'em mat talks. And we're just talking about this. I'll tag him when you post this because he'd probably enjoy this. But like him and I were talking about this. And just like the amount of men like us who are coming forward and like who've done hard things, who have put Christ on in the shelf in the closet for a while and then come back because we're out doing gritty, dirty shit that wasn't good, but like we learned, the hard things. Um, and hard lessons, and then we came back to it. We didn't just like grow up in the white picket fence neighborhood with a mom and dad that were like, here's your packed lunch, let's go to school, and then I'm gonna wipe your butt when you get home, and then we're gonna go to church every night.
Hmm.
Like, cool, that's awesome. Those guys are a wealth of knowledge when it comes to scripture, but it's like you haven't been tested. You haven't been in bad spots. You haven't faced temptations that have crushed men before and then come out on the other side of it. You haven't had vices that have put people in jail or in the ground, or worse, like I have, you have, a lot of these guys have, like, whether they're fighters, they're military, they're first responders, like, people who've been through the fire and then got out the other side, just like, damn, that sucked. Anyway, look at this. And
Hmm.
they move forward. And, and also like men being able to be capable of extreme violence. Like, I had made jokes like Jesus said, turn the other cheek. And sometimes I will turn the other cheek for you. With
That's awesome.
I'll punch you in the face.
That's
So
awesome.
like, if you're not going to turn the other cheek, I'll turn it for you. So like, cause I can.
Yeah.
And, so being able to stand up for yourself and protect yourself and your family and whatever, like, I still am capable of those things, but that does not mean that I know it all and I'm the end all be all, because I pray every night that I submit. Like every night I remind myself, I was like, Lord, I submit to you. You are number one. Everything I do, I give my best to you. I give my priorities to you. And then, and only then, do I come or my kids come or my hobbies or whatever the case may be. Like you are first. You can take
Mhm.
everything away from me, and I will love you. Like the story of Job. Like, man, you and I got it pretty damn good compared to him.
Oh, yeah.
So, just submitting and being open about that. Not internally, like, it's
Mhm.
easy to be humble by yourself in your bed at night, but like also voice that to the world. to your
Mhm.
friends, to your community, to your family, and then be like, I need help.
Yep.
And I think that, if you do both of those things, you're going to be pretty good no matter where you are in life.
Yeah, be an asset, not a liability. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing, and you said it, earlier, put God in everything, man, and ask for help. Don't stay silent because strength is in asking for help, not just trying to do it all on your own. I think
Right.
your exact words were, "You're an idiot. What are you doing?" So so, but,
Yeah.
well, man,
Yeah.
if someone's watching tonight, and they're watching this and they just feel like they're on the edge of giving up, what would you say to that person right now?
Don't. Like, let's start there. Don't. You can make it another day. And again, if you're not comfortable reaching out to someone, you're nervous, you're scared, you feel like they're going to judge you, then put a pause on it. Use Chat GPT, use YouTube, you know, use your phone. Like, it's right there.
Mhm,
Look at something and just, and start there. Like, hey, chat. I use Claude. I'm feeling this. What are some resources for me? The thing will shoot out 100 different things. What are some YouTube links that help me deal with this? Or this is, use a talk feature, record. Hey, this is what I'm dealing with. This is how I'm feeling. Write me a prayer that I can read out loud right now, and and do that. What are some verses that will remind me that God is with me? What is it? Stuff like you can do that. It's weird talking to your phone like a little robot like that. But if you're so scared to talk to somebody else, again, it's 2026. There's a million and one options for you. Obviously, I would recommend you call a friend or a family, and you will be surprised. I promise you. If you say, "I'm struggling, I need help," they're going to say, "What's going on with you?" No one's going to be
mhm.
like, "Pussy." No one's going to do
Yeah,
that. And
no.
if they do, one, I'm very sorry, and two, call someone else.
Mhm,
Um, and shit, I mean, I have no problem. Literally, find me on Instagram, send me a DM. I've had people do that before. I haven't said that in the past. People have just done it, but I'll
mhm.
say it openly now. I don't know when I'll read it, but I promise you I will read it and I will respond. So, and I can help with this as well. Um, and I won't charge you. So, but because I have had that happen, and it's very empowering for me as well, and
Mhm,
it validates that what I'm doing is good and it's just and it's right and it's helpful. Um, but I just want to and show you too proof of concept here that people care, and everybody is somebody to someone,
mhm.
and everyone is worth living, um, and their story is worth being told. So I would say again, just don't. It's not worth it. It's
Good
not worth it.
good advice, man, and, when I was speaking earlier, I wanna come back to this when you were talking about your SEAL career. Every one of us has a testimony, and the enemy wants us to stay quiet.
Mhm,
So I really feel like, Alex, you sharing that part of your life and now where you are now, and then especially tying in faith, that's gonna reach people that may not feel accepted at a church or may not feel worthy of Christ if they can look at what you've done and what you're doing now and say, "Hey, you know what? Alex was a SEAL, but he loves Jesus." Because from what I've seen where I'm sitting, I still don't see a lot of that online, man. And that's why I really try to pull this out in each episode to show people Christ is for everybody, not
yeah,
just me and Alex, but he's for everybody, regardless of what you've done, regardless of your past, regardless of what job you've had. He's for
mhm,
everybody. But I think
yeah,
a man with your background expressing that really is going to hit a different type of audience, man.
and again, like, what I said about the Wild at Heart book, you don't have to wait. That's the enemy speaking to you. That's the
Yep.
devil getting in your head,
Yep.
telling you that you have to be ready. "Oh, I should probably go to church 3 more times. I should say a nighttime prayer. I should download this app. I should not swear today." You
Hmm.
know, like, I shouldn't listen to whatever.
Hmm.
Then I'll be ready to submit to the Lord. No,
No.
fuck that. Do it
Yeah.
right now.
Do it
Do it
now.
right now.
Do it now. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, do you have a favorite scripture you want to share with the audience?
Um, I mean, definitely have a few, but I think the one that I really go back to all the time. I just made a new custom fight kit for my no gi stuff, and I have it tattooed on me. But is Psalm 124:1. You know, praise be the Lord, my rock,
Mhm.
who trains my hands for war and fingers for battle.
Nice.
So,
Very
um,
cool.
yeah, I mean, I love that one. There's quite a few, but that's the one I probably use the most.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I like the break the teeth one too. I think that one goes
Yeah.
super
There's an
hard.
there's an apparel company online that has this cool video and they say that out loud. They've got a t-shirt. It's awesome. I
Yeah.
forgot the name of the company,
Um,
but it's really
and
cool.
and then like I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like I probably that was probably the one that got me through buds. Honestly,
Okay. Yeah.
like the one
Nice.
that I went to the most.
Yeah.
Um, and then I honestly just recently too. I've been reading and I love the book of Proverbs and the
Nice,
book
dude.
and the
Nice.
book of Ephesians. I think that those and
Yep.
I don't have it with me right now. I wanted to show it on the video, but the I got a men's study Bible off of Amazon
Okay.
that's just really cool and it breaks down a lot of these different things if you don't understand what they are, what like I think I get what this metaphor means, but then it'll
Mhm.
say underneath like talk more about it.
Nice.
And then so I shared that on my Instagram probably a couple weeks ago, and I had a
Okay.
couple friends who bought it.
Nice.
And one of them was like, "Dude, I've never done this. Like,
Hmm.
I trust you. I like what you're doing. Like, where do I start? Like, do you start at the beginning?" I was like, "You can, but no, like, don't do that."
Yeah.
Um, because like you're not gonna get everything out of it in until later on, and
Mhm.
it's 2,000 pages long.
Yeah.
There's that, and
Yeah.
it also I think it depends on where you're at in life and what are you missing. I was like, so I told him I was like, start with Proverbs. I promise you, you'll love it. There's parts in there you're like, okay, especially like for me, I've struggled with women.
Yeah, me too.
So
Me
Proverbs
too.
is a big one in there. So I was like, start with Proverbs, then read the Ephesians, and then when you're done with that, just go through the Gospels.
Yeah.
Like I would say, do that, and then you're gonna have a really, really good understanding of like what the Bible is about. You're
Mhm.
gonna feel really good about like decision making, um, prayer, like all and what it takes to be like a quality, high value man.
Mhm.
Um, do that, and then then start at the beginning if you want. Read the whole thing, but I would start with Proverbs, then Ephesians, and then the Gospels. Is
Well,
what
I'm
I
glad
tell
I'm
people.
I'm I'm glad you said Proverbs. I think Proverbs is basically the guide to life, and that is a really good book, and it's funny that you say that because this happens a lot on this show. I always write a verse out to share on air, and I have a guest share one, but I've got one, and it's Proverbs 29:25. Fear can be a trap, but if you trust in the Lord, you will be safe. And you kind of been speaking this whole time about,
Yeah,
fear, like, "Oh, I'm not ready." Like, there it is. There's the trap. Trust in the Lord and just
yeah,
just do it. Just go for it.
that's right.
Um, yeah, man, that's I agree, and I think Ephesians is a great book. It really Paul does a good job of kinda telling us how to be men, how to be fathers, how to be leaders, and also the spiritual warfare component, which really I get into, because that is key. And I like how you said earlier you felt more attacks the closer you got to Christ. Because if you're watching this, the closer you get to Jesus, you're a threat. You're a threat to the enemy. And if you don't share your testimony, you're doing what the enemy wants you to do. He doesn't want you to talk. He wants you to stay quiet. And the more
Yeah,
you can talk and share your story, the more people you're going to inspire. And as Christians, we're told to spread the gospel and make disciples. You can't do that if you stay quiet. And you don't have to be some kind of certified Bible scholar. Just find a group you connect with, whether it's a group of guys at the jiu-jitsu gym, CrossFit gym, wherever, man, and just
mhm,
just talk to each other and
yep,
help each other. Be of service. Um, Man, I'd love it if you close out with a prayer. I'm happy to do it, but if you're cool with it, man, I'd love if you do it.
yeah. This is good because I got the big fella here with me.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome, dude. Yeah.
you ready to say a prayer? Yeah. We'll pause YouTube for a second. All right. Ready? Close your eyes. You don't. Oh, I'm going to say it. All right. we go. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for all the love and support that I have in my family, in my friends, my community, the internet, and beyond. Thank you for this opportunity to share my story and hear his as well. And we get to spread these things and hopefully help people through your will and your grace. And we ask that you give us strength and keep us armed and equipped to fight off the attacks from the enemy so that we may continue to be strong, be leaders of men, and bring others closer to you every single day. We ask that you bless us and watch over us, give us wisdom and guidance, and help us to be the best that we can be. And always remember to submit to you no matter what life and the enemy throws at us, that you come first, and through you, all things are possible. And we thank you. We love you. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Alex, I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight and sharing your story, man. I know it's going to inspire a lot of people.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope so.
While you're watching this, make sure to share this with somebody. There might be someone out there in your life that is struggling, that needs to hear this message, that maybe they don't know who Christ is, or they don't know they need to work on their mental health, or that they have purpose and they have value regardless of where they come from. So help us spread awareness for mental health through this podcast and also the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're here on YouTube. We're over on Spotify. We're on Apple Music or I'm sorry, Amazon Music and Apple Podcasts. Easy to find. Peace, Power, and Purpose podcast. New episodes drop every Wednesday and every Thursday. Alex, this has been a really great conversation, man, and a lot of the things that you're sharing, I can relate to when it comes to the alcohol and divorce and fatherhood. And so, man, I have a lot of respect for you, man. I really appreciate you coming on here and having the courage to share your story.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, is just getting out there and just doing it. I think that's the theme here. So
Amen.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, it's an honor sitting down with you, man. I really appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
God bless you, man.
You too.